All right, guys, last night, after scoring 26 points, dishing out 11 assists, Darren Fox was asked if he would be willing to participate in this year's All-Star Game, which is on track, expected, not official yet, to take place in Atlanta on March 7th. Here is his response.
If I'm going to be brutally honest, I think it's stupid. If we have to wear masks and do all of this for a regular game, then what's the point of bringing the All-Star Game back? But obviously, money makes the world go round, so it is what it is. But, I'm not really worried about it. If I'm voted, so be it. If I'm not,
Would you play in it?
You get fined if you're supposed to be in it and you're not hurt and you decide not to play. That's a hefty fine. So hell yeah, I would play in it.
There you go. Today, the league released the first round of All-Star voting results. Out east, KD, Giannis, and Embiid lead all front court players. Beal, Kyrie, and Harden lead all backcourt players in that order. And in the West, LeBron, Jokic, and Kawhi leading the way for the front court. Steph, Luka, and Dame, the top three in that order among the West guards. All right, we will get back to the rosters and the voting and all of that in a minute. But with that, it is time for another edition of Where in the World is Brian Windhorst? That is a very severe-looking photo, Brian. Where are you coming to us from?
The home of the finest lemon pepper wings in the NBA, Rachel, Atlanta, Georgia, and the home of the soon-to-be-announced March 7th All-Star Game. Now, look, I know, and certainly Darren Fox articulated this, this seems like a risk and something that may be borderline. But I'm going to tell you that in talking to teams out there, they're more worried about the guys who don't go to the All-Star Game than the guys who do come here to Atlanta, because those guys are going to be going to Mexico, maybe to other beach destinations where they may not be as secure as the folks who are here going to be in Atlanta for this. And look, I know that this is a risk, but it's a television product and it's a money thing, and there might even be something along the lines of a slam dunk contest and a three-point contest. Not the traditional All-Star Saturday night, but we may see some ancillary things as well when it gets announced, likely in the next few hours.
And I agree with Brian, too. Obviously, when the NBA wants to do something, they get it done. And I can guarantee without even going or knowing, these guys are going to be on lockdown. It's going to be really strict. So it may not be possibly as fun as an All-Star Game normally is. But, the NBA wants to have it. And you got to respect each player's in situations like this, similar to the bubble situation. Guys are putting their health and their family, obviously, concerns at the forefront. But I trust the NBA that if they're going to make this happen, that it's going to be as safe as it possibly can.
Yeah, I don't worry that these guys will be at risk. And certainly, Brian, the point that if the players who are not at the All-Star Game go and really break some of the protocol and go mix with a bunch of people that are not just their immediate family members and go to and fro, that is more of a risk. The only reason the All-Star Game is so much more of a question is you are mixing guys from 20 or so different teams, right? So if there is one person that could go and sort of go through the whole league. But the hope is that doesn't happen, right? They're going to be very careful. And look, all fingers crossed. Maybe it's going to be fantastic. I love All-Star every year. I hope they use the Elon scoring ending that they used last year. Seeing all those guys together will certainly give everyone that feeling of just sort of fun and what the NBA is about. I do have to ask, Matt, if you are a player and you were sent to the All-Star Game in Atlanta and you were told you had to spend the entire weekend just in your hotel room without being allowed to leave except to go to practice or the court, how tempting will it be for any of these guys to, well, not sample Atlanta?
That's
I'm
tough.
just going to put it. I'm just going to put it that way, Matt.
That's tough. I mean, the fact that it's Atlanta on top of that,
yeah.
And Atlanta acts like COVID doesn't exist. They've never shut down. Everything has continued to go. Steven Jackson lives out there. We talk constantly about how just Atlanta has been a free-for-all. So it's going to be a tough situation. Like I said, normally you let your hair down, you have a good time at events on and off the court during All-Star. This is just going to be at All-Star. But obviously I think guys that aren't going to All-Star are going to be at more at a risk because they've kind of been contained to these certain restrictions, and they have 5 or 6 days off, and there's no telling what they're going to do and where they're going to go.
I'm very interested to hear what the rules are going to be for the players who are not going to Atlanta, right? Are they allowed to go to Mexico? Like, are they allowed to, right, the rules?
Rules.
And then also the rules for the guys in Atlanta. Do they have to stay in their hotel? Are they allowed to have guests? Who are the guests? Anyway, we'll discuss all that later. We will also discuss the All-Star voting later in the show because there's really interesting names and numbers going on there. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.